Israel has got a bigger agenda, and where the human life doesn't matter. We have repeatedly discussed, they consider everybody else as a subhuman. They call them animals, these Palestinian people, and I believe they consider rest of the world as subhuman. They think they are chosen by God, and they think they were chosen by God 3,000 years ago. Their ancestors lived in Palestine, so they have the inherent right. You see the kind of the stupid logic they have come up with. If we accept that logic, let the Italy take over Britain, because Italy at one point of time ruled over Britain. Let Turkey take over entire Middle East, North of Africa. Let it take over the parts of Europe up to the Central Europe, because once it has been part of the Ottoman Empire. Let Pakistan and Afghanistan jointly take over the entire South Asia, including India, because Muslims ruled over there 800 years. So these are the stupid logics and with which Israel has been justifying their aggression on Palestinians. You see, there is no logic. There is no argument other than that they have been chosen by God. And Netanyahu has been citing, he's been giving biblical reference to basically justify the killing of children, the killing of the women. They think these children are going to grow up. They will potentially attack on so-called state of Israel, and that is why they are killing them.
Were I a Jew, I would be a Zionist. And my father pointed out to me, I did not need to be a Jew to be a Zionist. For I am.
I have seen his videos where he's been projecting himself, admitting that he's a Zionist. So Zionist is basically an extremist. Zion is a name of a mountain in the Palestine, and on the best, which they try to, these Zionists try to link themselves with that historical mountain that sometime 3,000 years ago they lived there. And these Christian Zionists, they believe that if they facilitate these Jews Zionists, that they would actually facilitate the arrival of, quote unquote, their Messiah. So these Western leaders who project themselves as a secular, who project themselves that they believe in the Western values, human values, but behind the scene, they are pursuing a biblical agenda where Muslims don't matter at all. They are animals for them. And the job of West right now, particularly of the US, is to make it sure that no Muslim country react militarily. And that is why 2 aircraft carriers are there in the Mediterranean Sea. That is why the nuclear submarine, American nuclear submarine is there in the Middle East. So this is how they are preventing Muslim. On one side, the US Foreign Minister, Secretary of State, says that he's a Jew, and he's so at pain of seeing of what happened with the Jews in Israel. And you see, if somebody talks that he's a Muslim, first he's a Muslim, and that is why he feels so painful of what is happening in the occupied Palestine. They will call us as a terrorist. They call Quran, the holy Muslim book of Islam, they call it that it projects violence. But what about the biblical references which Netanyahu has given, whereby he's justifying the killing of the children? You see, this is, I think, double standard is even is a small word. Hypocrisy is a small word to reflect the situation. This is a very terrible situation. What they don't understand, that if Gaza falls, remember, next target is Sinai in Egypt. That region is part and parcel of Greater Israel. That next target is Syria. And parts of Iraq up to the river Irfat. And then they are also keeping an eye on some parts of Turkey. When Israel wants a greater Israel, Muslim leaders need to think about it. tide of anti-Israel sentiments. What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point and then as an enemy at the same time.
That is going to be the first legalism on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geo-strategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geo-strategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.